The most wanted man on earth, but no one can stop him. The story kicks off and we see John. His daughter tells him, "Dad, there's someone in the kitchen." At first, John just brushes her off, but when he himself went to the kitchen, some masked guys attacked him. They dragged his wife and daughter in front of him. The guy in the mask pulled it down and showed his face clearly to John. Right after that, he shot John's wife and daughter right in front of his eyes. 9 months later, John comes out of a coma. The doctors tell him his memory is gone, but he'll get everything back soon. FBI agent Gorman comes to visit him and asks, "Do you remember what went down with your family that night?" John says, "I remember everything." Then Gorman shows him a photo of the guy who killed his family. He says, "His name's Luke. He used to be a soldier," Gorman says. "But right now, he's a most wanted criminal. The night you were attacked, we found his fingerprints all over the place." John wants to know why he killed his family, but just thinking about them makes him sick. Gorman says, "Get some rest now. Here's my number." He says, "Call me when you're squared away." Before Gorman leaves, he calls someone and says, "Activate the plumber." As soon as he says that, a guy who was repairing a pipe somewhere far away suddenly stands up. His whole attitude changes in an instant. It's like someone took control of his mind. He jumps in a car fast and takes off, leaving his work unfinished. After that, he heads to the red light district. Tons of guys are partying it up with the girls here. All those guys had a small mark on the back of their heads, and that's why Magnus, the plumber, was chasing after them. The moment he gets inside, Magnus shoots the receptionist and then grabs a machine gun and goes to kill the rest of them. They were getting eliminated one by one. But taking them out wasn't easy. Some guys were still getting up and attacking even after taking 3 or 4 bullets. Finally, Magnus meets his last target. Scott wasn't scared when he saw him. He says, "You showed up at the perfect time. I've got a gift for you," he says. The second Magnus attacks him, Scott stabs him with a sharp object, and his body goes completely limp. A bright light flashes in Magnus' eyes and he sees Luke in front of him. "We set you free. From now on, you're going to work for us." Meanwhile, John gets discharged from the hospital. Before leaving, he's given some stuff and seeing them makes John relive the day his family was murdered. When John gets home, the silence in the house is killing him. As his memory starts to flood back, his wounds are getting deeper. He's having dinner when someone calls him. The guy on the phone tells John his name is Isaac, and he sounds totally freaked out. He tells John, "Where did you go? I thought those guys got you, too." He says, John has no clue what he's talking about. He suggests, "Let's meet up and talk. Give me your address." He says. Isaac says, "You know where my house is, right? You need to hurry up and get over here. I've kept that thing of yours safe." John wants to find out what thing he's talking about, so he jots down the address fast and heads over there. As soon as he gets to Isaac's apartment, he sees everything scattered inside and there are blood splatters on the wall. Inside, he finds Isaac's dead body, which was rotting and stinking. John starts thinking, if he's been dead this long, who called me? His mind was playing tricks on him now. John searches the place and finds another address inside. It's the address of a strip club. John immediately heads there. As soon as he gets inside, he sees girls stripping and dancing for the clients. He wonders if he used to hang out at places like this. John spots a girl there and tries to talk to her, but the girl was blowing him off. He didn't want to cause a scene, so he goes to the washroom, but Magnus was already waiting for him there. He stabs John with the same sharp object that Scott stabbed him with. As soon as this happens, John sees Luke, who is telling him, "You don't have control over your own mind." John gets mad and thinks about attacking Magnus. But just then, the club guards grab him and toss him out. John wants to know why everyone here is his enemy. He wants to know what he did wrong. John tails the girl, grabs her, and takes her to her apartment. Before he can ask anything, Magnus suddenly attacks him. They have a brutal fight. Magnus was a mind-controlled universal soldier and John stood no chance against him. Magnus slices off the poor guy's fingers. John also attacks him, slices off his leg and bolts out of there. After the mission fails, Magnus goes back to the base. We see more people like him here and Scott is giving them a speech. He says, "My brothers, we shouldn't forget our past. Until now, someone else had control over our minds. But now, we found a purpose for living. Every one of us has been a slave to others until now. But what did we get in return? Only a life of pain, suffering, and humiliation. Our numbers will grow soon and will rule the entire world." Meanwhile, Sarah tells John, "You were looking at me in the club like you didn't know me." John, who'd forgotten everything, tries to guess her name, but nothing comes back to him. He asks, "Who am I? What did I do here? What kind of work did I do?" Then what Sarah tells him is totally different from what he thought about himself until now. She tells him, "You're a truck driver and you live in a small cabin in the woods." John thinks, if that's my home, then where have I been living all this time? He asks, "When was the last time we saw each other?" Sarah tells him, "One day you came into the club like always. You were looking only at me. And when my shift ended, I heard someone yelling and screaming. You were beating up the guy who tried to talk to me. The guards tried to stop you, but you. After that, you just vanished." John figures out why the club guys threw him out. He strains his brain and tries to remember, but he can't remember anything except his family. What he did, where he lived, who his friends were, nothing. All he could remember was his family. John is standing in front of the mirror looking at himself. Then Luke suddenly appears in front of him. He grabs John and says, "Try to remember." John sees his family dying again. And when he wakes up, he realizes it was all a bad dream. After this, he goes to Gorman. He needs to know why this is happening to him. John says, "I see Luke. He talks to me." Gorman tells him, "You're not the only one. He's kidnapped a lot of our people like this. He has some kind of technology that he uses to control our minds. Luke's forming some kind of secret organization, and before you find him, he'll find you and kill you." John wants to know why he's chasing after him. Gorman says, "We don't even know that, but whoever is connected to him in any way, he does this to them. Try to remember. You'll definitely recall something." Meanwhile, we see Magnus, whose cut-off leg healed all by itself. Which means these weren't normal humans. They were genetically advanced humans who were made for a purpose. They were full of anger and hatred for the people who enslaved them. One guy picks up Magnus' drink and starts chugging it, which Magnus doesn't like at all, and they start fighting. The guy doesn't last long against Magnus. Afterward, the people there beat him up real bad for being weak. A little later, Luke shows up and shoots the guy. He didn't want anyone in his organization to fight each other. After this, John goes to a warehouse with Sarah. He used to come here often to pick up a shipment, and he finds out that Luke was also last seen here. As soon as he goes inside, a guy asks him, "Where have you been all this time? Why didn't you show up for work?" John says, "I need to see my shipment." "Where's it going? Tell me." The guy tells him to talk to the manager cause he doesn't have the details. When John goes to the manager is pumped to see him. He says, "Come in. I was waiting for you." John asks, "Where's my container going? And who is this guy?" But the manager says, "Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. But I've got a surprise for you." He says, "Your shipment was rotting away here. We tried to talk to you, but you weren't around. Then we tracked down your friend Isaac. We went to his house, and look what we found there." The manager shows John a CCTV footage. And what John sees freaks him out. It turns out that the guy who killed Isaac was John himself. John was the one who killed him so brutally. The manager says, "Now those guys aren't going to let you go. Run as far as you can." John realizes he has a look-alike. He immediately rushes outside and tells Sarah to head to the place where he used to live. He's totally sure that guy will still be there. The attacks them again. He chases their car and keeps shooting at them, but luckily they don't get hit by a single bullet. Magnus shoots the tires, flipping their car over, and both of them get badly hurt. John still tries to run away with Sarah, but then Magnus grabs him and slams him into a store. He beats up John badly. This guy had superhuman strength, and John couldn't stand a chance against him. But as he's fighting, John realizes he's not weak either. Suddenly, his muscle memory gets unlocked, and he deals with every one of Magnus' attacks perfectly. Finally, he grabs a bat and hits Magnus so hard that his head explodes like a balloon. Sarah gets scared seeing him like this. But before the cops could show up, John quickly puts her in the car and drives away. John sees that his cut-off fingers also grew back. He realizes he's not a normal human. Sarah takes him to the cabin where he used to live. But as soon as they go inside, another John is waiting for them with a gun. He looks exactly like John. The new John says, "You're better than me. That Isaac made you better than me." John wants to know why he killed Isaac. The other John tells him, "I'm a universal soldier. We were made to kill Luke. They must have told you that Luke's a bad guy. They told me that, too. But when I went to kill him, he told me the truth. The truth I was blind to. And when I met Sarah, I found out I was a slave. My memories weren't mine," John tells him. "But I'm not like you. I have a family." The old John says, "Memories? I get how much pain they cause. Go to Luke. He'll help you," he says. Sarah goes to John and hugs him, but then John suddenly goes crazy. He tries to kill Sarah. John has to kill him after that. He gives Sarah a knife and says, "Take this out of my body." It turns out there was a microchip in the back of his head that was controlling him. John says, "No one here is yours anymore. Go home. You're free." After this, John goes to the river where the old John told him to go. He finds a guy waiting for him with a boat. John quietly gets on the boat and heads into a jungle. From the outside, no one could tell that tons of soldiers lived inside. They tell John to go into a secret bunker, and as soon as he goes in, they close the lid. Inside, John meets a doctor who examines him and says, "You're just a kid. You were made just 3 weeks ago, but you grew up real fast." The doctor tells him, "I know why you're here. Your memories are the cause of your pain." He asks, "Can you let them go?" Hearing this, John starts crying. The doctor says, "All your memories are fake. You were made in a government lab where I used to work. A chip was put in your brain that holds your memories. I designed it, and I'm the only one who can take it out." John wants the doctor to take out those memories, just like he did with the last John. The doctor says, "All right, then let's start the operation." During the operation, he explains that the John before him was given the job of bringing a container. It had something in it that could help us make more Johns like you, but he just vanished. The doctor only needed to take out the chip that had his family memories. But this John wasn't like the previous ones. This time, the chip was implanted much deeper, which made it tough for the doctor to take out. But what was even more dangerous were his memories. John knew all of it was fake. But even knowing all that, a part of him was screaming that it was all real. John gets super violent in the middle of the operation. All he could think about was that he had to kill his family's murderer no matter what. The soldiers try to stop him, but John brutally kills every person who tries to stop him. Finally, John runs into Scott, who attacks him. The second he sees him, Scott didn't care at all, like he didn't have any fear of dying. They have a brutal fight. One guy stabs the other with a knife, and a sword goes right through the other guy. Finally, John kills him and moves on. There, he sees Luke standing alone, waiting for him. He says, "You still believe their lies. If you think I killed your family, then so be it." John refuses to believe that Luke was being set up as the villain in this whole story, when the real reason for his condition was the government lab where he was made. They have a terrifying fight. John grabs whatever he can and starts beating Luke with it. But Luke was an old player in this game. Even though he was outdated, he bravely faced an advanced soldier like John. Soon, they're both covered in blood. But John wasn't about to quit. Luke saw that this John wasn't like the previous ones. This time, his goal wasn't just to stop him, but he was programmed for revenge. He drops his weapons and says, "Just kill me." This fight has no end until the government takes him out. He had accepted his fate that this fight wouldn't end. He had killed countless Jays before this, but he saw something different. In this John, he wasn't taking orders from anyone. He did what he did on his own free will. John thinks for a while looking at him. He could have stopped himself, but he decides to kill him. Luke's people come to kill him. But when they see that John killed Luke, no one tries to kill him because it was all over. After this, John goes to meet Gorman. When Gorman finds out that he killed Luke, he gets super happy. Gorman tells him the truth that he's a universal soldier who was designed to kill Luke. "We sent many like you before," he says. "But everyone either failed the mission or vanished. We tried to put patriotism into all of them. We tried to put patriotism into all of them. We told them that Luke was a traitor, which was probably not enough to kill Luke. But we put memories of a family inside you, which made you emotional. And you're the only one who killed him." But he didn't know that John wasn't taking orders from him anymore. He did what he did on his own free will. Gorman says, "These memories, it's all fake. But the pain they cause is real. I can set you free. Come with me to the lab. We'll wipe those memories." John says, "So Luke didn't kill my family." He says, "This was all your plan. I'm in pain because of you." Before Gorman could explain anything, John pulls out his gun and shoots him. Hearing the gunshot, another Gorman gets out of John's van and drives away in the real Gorman's car. John definitely killed Luke, but now he was on a mission himself. A mission to free everyone who the government was using for their own benefit by giving them these painful memories. John remembers his family one more time. For him, it was all real. And now, he's going to take out everyone who was truly responsible for his family's death. And with that, the story ends right here. Be sure to let us know what you thought of this movie in the comments.